Hi Stampers, Diane Dimich here with DDStamps.com, and I want to welcome you all here. I gotta see I got messages already. Great, thank you. Thanks for commenting. Now I know that I think you can hear me. All right, let me see. Yeah, sorry about the new time, but I kind of had to go early, because I go to bed so early. Anyway, yeah, people are gonna forget a lot, and Linda, and they're not gonna make it, and that's fine. We can. You can always watch the replay, because once I've taped it, it's up there. And then I also I actually put it in 2 places on YouTube. Not right away, but anyway, thanks for coming. I'm glad you're here. I hope you can hear me. I'd love to know if, oh good. I'd love to know, is anybody out there watching on Facebook? Because I was supposed to go live on Facebook and YouTube, and I don't know if I did. I hope I did, because that would be awesome. It is a possibility with this program that I have. However, I never have good enough internet to do that. So if you're out there on Facebook, let me know in the comments, because they should come up in my comments too. So, and if you're on my website watching, I cannot see the comments there until I'm done for the day, and then I can check it. So if you have something you want to ask me, you could do it on Facebook or you could do it on YouTube. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Oh, it's a light. I was like, what is this light down here? But that is actually a light. Must be this one. All right. No, it's not on Facebook, watching on YouTube. Okay, so anyway, let's get started, because I kind of need to keep this going. My dog just went outside, of course, so at some point I'm going to have to go get her. We are working today with the Endless Love stamp set. I have a feeling that these might be on back order, but the paper came available today. What I would tell you is to do this with me, because this is a night that I'm going to have you do stuff with me. The measurements will be down in the description if you're just watching it on the replay and you want to see what I've done. I will put the projects that I make up on my website, and I will put the measurements up there too. But if you want to stamp along with me, that would be great. That would be a lot of fun. It's a pretty easy card that we're making. So what you're going to need, actually we're making 4 cards. So I'm using cards, real red, and Flirty Flamingo, and basic white. And then I'm using this Valentine's paper. Both sides are cool. All right, so let me flip my camera and actually get started. All right, so let me talk to you a little bit about the paper. So this paper just became available again today. And I believe that the stamp set's going to be available next week, but I can check for sure. And I just wanted to show you this paper because it's really cute. It's a lot of fun. So I just picked 4 sheets of any designer series paper, and you can too. Just pick 4 sheets of any designer paper. Hey, Joan, that you have. Or not 4 sheets. Let me start over. This is what you're going to need if you're going to stamp with me. You're going to need some designer series paper. You can pick any designer series paper you want. So how I picked my papers tonight was I decided to do Made with Love. I look back here and see that the colors that coordinate with it are Bubble Bath, Flirty Flamingo, Poppy Parade, Real Red, and Strawberry Slush. And so with that, I just picked 2 sheets of cardstock. So I picked Flirty Flamingo and Real Red, and that's what I'm going to use for my card bases. So you need 2 sheets of cardstock. Doesn't have to be colored cardstock. It doesn't have to be different colors. It can be anything you want, just as long as it coordinates with the papers that you're using, the designer papers that you're using. All right, and then you need a neutral. So I picked my neutral to be basic white, because it works. All right, let me move this stuff out of the way. So I'm just telling you that now, so that if you wanted to, you could go get that stuff and have it ready. So 2 sheets of colored cardstock, 2 sheets of a neutral, and 4 pieces of designer series paper that I have now misplaced. They are cut, maybe it's in here, there. So the designer series paper is cut, I know it's 5. I know it's 5. No, it's not. Yeah, it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. By 3 3/4. So it's 3 3/4 by 5. That's your designer series paper. All right. So tonight I'm using the More Than Love suite. I'm actually using the whole suite, I think. And I just wanted you to know that it comes with a stamp set. There's all these dies that come with it. I do my tutorial with this one this week or this month, and I will show those cards here in a minute. Also, if you wanted to see those cards made in action, I did those last week. All right, this is some bubble bath ribbon. Ah, you still got a bad arm, huh? Or shoulder. That's all right. You can do it, Joan, afterwards. And then I might use these embellishments because they're so stinking cute. So these embellishments come in Bubble Bath, Real Red, Poppy Parade, and then these little tiny envelopes that have that are white with black, and then a little tiny, you can't barely see it, a little red heart. And I think there's some lips in here too. Yeah, so there's white. Yeah, look at all these little lips. They're funny. These are funny embellishments. Anyway, so I pulled those out too, just because you never know. All right. So my tutorial for this month uses the same suite. Let me show you those cards. Like I said, I made these in last week's tutorial, so you can go back and watch that. And then I realized I didn't finish this card because it's supposed to say Happy Valentine's Day. And I forgot Happy and Day. Oh well, I'll fix it maybe. And then these little envelopes, which were super easy to make, but look at those cute embellishments. They're so cute. Here's a Valentine, very nice Valentine, using Bubble Bath and Fleur de Flamingo. And then this one is Fleur de Flamingo. So I kind of used all of the dies that I had. The other thing that's in that suite, and I did want to show this, I meant to show this last week and I forgot to, but these are these treat bags, and they're big. I want you to see how big they are. They're pretty good size. Red on the side, they got little hearts on the front. I just did up one and decorated it. It's very similar to one that's in the catalog. I just used a strip of designer series paper, and I didn't attach it back here because I just used these things to hold it on back there because I wanted somebody to be able to open this up and maybe reuse it if they needed to. And then I just added some things that I cut out with the dies, and I stamped a little bit there. All right, so those are the treat bags. The next thing I want to talk about is the product of the month. So this is the product of the month for this month. As you can see, it is a big stamp set. I was shocked when there's something about these new folders. I don't know why, but I don't expect it to be as big as it is, and then it is. But this is a great stamp set. It has lots of great embellishments, and I love the font. I love the 2 different fonts that you can, and they work together. So this is considered a 2-step stamp set because you can use them together. So, you know, you could use Happy Birthday, Hooray, You're on My Mind. There are simply no words for this. So this is a really good stamp set. It really is. I liked You Can Do Anything. So, product of the month. So product of the month is just a product that's available to anybody that places an order of $75 or more. You can add on the product of the month for $5. I think available right now is this month's product of the month and January's or December's product of the month, which was True Blue paper, designer series paper, and all kinds of blues. So that was fun. All right, let me do one more little plug here for my Create With Me club for this month. For January, today is the last day that you can sign up. These are the cards that you'll be making. You get to, in my club, you get a half a pack of the designer series paper, a full pack of embellishments, a full spool of ribbon, all the card bases, all the extra pieces like this arch die, cut and ready to go for you. You will cut the designer series paper and you will do all the stamping. You get enough products to do 2 of each card. And the reason I do 2 of each card is because I want you to give one of them away. So a lot of people just keep their cards, but now you could, I would like to see you give both of them away. But at least this way you can keep one and give one away. So those are the cards for, one of the things I liked about this is I used this stamp set I can't remember what it was called. But when I saw, I made these up before I got Fabulous Sayings, and I was like, oh my gosh, these sayings on here would go great with these cards. So you can use these on everything. All right, let's get started. Come back in. So we have 4 sheets of designer series paper, and the measurements are 3 3/4 by 5. We have 2 sheets of basic white, and we have a sheet of real red and a sheet of Fleur de Flamingo. All right, so I'm going to pull my cutter in here, and I'm going to start with the cardstock. So when I do my cardstock bases, I'm always doing lots of cards. And so one of the things that you can do is just do a whole sheet. So if you score your cardstock with your cutter, which sometimes I do and sometimes I don't, just depends on how I'm feeling. I'm going to put this at 4 1/4. I'm going to take my scoring blade, which is the tan one down here, this one, and I'm going to run it up that cardstock. And I've scored it the whole sheet. And then if I turn it to here and cut it 5 1/2 with the cutting side, then I end up with 2 card bases. So we're going to do that with both pieces of cardstock. And the one thing I want you to remember is that, remember if you're scoring or cutting, because I have a tendency sometimes to just grab the cutter when I meant to score, and I cut my cardstock. And then I end up with lots of scraps. All right, so same thing with this one. 4 1/4, we're going to score it. 5 1/2, we're going to cut it. So there's our card bases. They are ready to go. We'll just set those aside for now. We're going to take our 2 pieces of designer series paper. And I love the designer series paper, or 2 pieces of the basic white. My gosh, this is why I have to start earlier, ladies and gentlemen, because my mouth doesn't work as the day goes on. All right, so these are going to be for a layer on the front of my card and then a layer on the inside of my card. So I'm going to cut these at 4 inches. And I can cut 2 pieces of this cardstock, the basic white. You can probably cut 2 pieces of the other cardstock too, but I can cut 2 at a time. See, use the scoring blade, but at least I didn't use the cutter. All right, so then you got 4 by 5 1/4, and you're going to cut this one down. And then once I do this, I usually take these strips and I lay them to the side because I probably will use some of this on my card. All right, then you're going to take your other piece and you're going to cut this one down to 4. Line it up at 4 and cut that. Again, I'm going to save this piece because a lot of our sentiments will fit along this and it'll make a great little banner. So we'll just keep those pieces till I decide what I'm going to do with my cards. All right, 5 1/4. Yeah, 5 1/4. So 4 by 5 1/4. We're going to make 8 of these because we're going to have 1 on the inside of my card and 1 on the outside of my card. All right. So there's that. Now you're going to take your pieces of designer series paper. I'm going to cut these all at the same time. I'm going to stack them up. So one of the things I kind of look for is to make sure they're stacked. So if it has, you know, if it has a orientation how it needs to go, you might want to look at that. Although we can switch these around all kinds of different ways. And then I'm going to look at the back because I kind of want to make sure. Yeah, I think I'm good. So I'm going to stack those all up. I'm going to put these in my cutter. I'm going to start. Let's see if we can cut them all at the same time. I'm going to start by cutting at 4 or 1 1/4. So once I've got them in there, line it up at 1 1/4. And really, this measurement doesn't matter. You can cut them any way you want. And then I'm going to go at 3 1/4. So I turned it and cut it at 3 1/4. So I have pieces like that. And then I'm going to take this other piece that I have here, and I'm going to cut this at 2 3/4. And again, I'm picking some random numbers. I wanted it to kind of look balanced in my card. But seriously, for this particular technique of card, you could do it anyway. So then we have this at 2 3/4. And then this piece here ends up being 2 1/4. So that's what you end up with. Let me move my cutter. Then you're going to take your pieces. and I'm going to kind of lay them out. So one of the things that you can do is look at your pieces that you have, and you can actually go, you know, that one there, this one here. I kind of want to totally switch it up. And these are really printed, so I need to go in with probably a more solid looking color. And I think this one looked better. So you can kind of see what I'm doing here. Then you're going to take these pieces, going to do the same thing. However, you have both sides, so really look at what you're doing. I might put that one there, that one there. And all I want to do is make sure that I don't have card or colors, patterns that are all the same. So really you can just, look, I use this one a lot. I'll flip it. I'll flip it to that. Too many hearts. There we go. Do that little stripe. We'll do this little heart. So that's what's going to end up being my card bases. So I have lots of options. Like I could have flipped these over, looked all around. So then I'm going to take my basic white pieces and my adhesive, which I probably left in the other room. So I guess I'll use this. Oh, wait, I have it. Here's my Stampin' Style. I'm going to use this. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to place these on here. And I want them to have a little bit of a border around the edges and between the pieces. So I'm just laying them on here. Yep, that's what I want. All right, so then I'm going to just go ahead. This is a way to get cards done in a real hurry and to use up some of your designer series paper, because I know you all have it laying around. So pull out some designers. It doesn't have to be new stuff. It can be old stuff that you have. Add some cardstock in there. Layer these up, cut them, and get some bases ready. All right, so there is my first piece. I'm going to do that to all of them. Probably don't have to lay them out like I did the first time. I just wanted to kind of know what my borders were going to be. So now I can just eyeball it. Oh, that would have been kind of cool too. Oh well. See, that's the problem with these double-sided papers, is that we like them all. There's space 2. All right, so what I was thinking today was, if you guys go for the next, say, week, well, this is up on YouTube, anybody that follows this little map that I made, makes 4 cards with it, takes a picture of them, sends them to me. If you send them to me, I will send you something in the mail. And the only reason I'm not telling you what I'm going to send in the mail, because I haven't decided yet. I guess it depends on how many people participate. But I will send you a little gift in the mail, because I want to see the projects that you made with these, and just for the fun of it, just to see if people are actually following some of my tutorials. It'll help me decide if I want to keep doing things like this or if I need to change it. Does that make sense? All right, so those are our things. Now we're going to take our card bases. And we've already scored these. So we have 2 in Flirty Flamingo and 2 in Real Red. And it doesn't really matter how we decide to put these on there. They can go on anyway, either color, because all the colors that we use coordinate. All right, so There's that. Diana says that her daughter and her granddaughter do not like the double-sided paper because they can never decide which side they like best. I know, it's funny. That's why I kind of like this technique, Diana, because you can use both sides of your paper. You can mix them up and use them up. But yeah, I get it. Sometimes when I have a really cool piece of paper and I do love both sides, then I look around and I do a card so that both sides show. There's plenty of tutorials out there to show two sides of the paper. All right, so there, I just did 4 card bases. Anybody that gets one of these cards is going to think, holy wow, she really worked hard, when you know that I didn't. So these other 4 pieces are actually for the inside of your cards. I'm going to go ahead and attach those, even though I'll probably do some stamping in them. But it's nice to have them done. So this is one of those projects that you can kind of do mindlessly. You could actually grab some paper and some cardstock and do a bunch of bases. And then when you have to think about it, do the stamping part. When you have maybe a little bit more time or whatnot. I could do this watching TV and have a bunch of bases done. And then decide what I'm going to do after that with them. The other thing is that the cards can go this way or you can flip them this way. And either way, they're going to, you know, whatever, they're going to look different, but they're going to work for you. All right, so here are my card bases. Now what I did is about 10 minutes before I went live. Yeah, the card base does change because look at the Flirty Flamingo. It just makes them look different. And then the Real Red. And you could use any of those cardstock colors that are on the back of that designer series paper list. All right, so now I have these. So about, I don't know, 10 minutes ago, before I got started, I went and grabbed, I have a little stash over here of die cuts that I've cut that I didn't necessarily use. And I thought, oh, well, there's 4. I'll use 4. So I'm really pushing the limit here. I'm going to start with this one. We'll start with the Flirty Flamingo base. So I'm pulling in some ink, and I pulled out Flirty Flamingo in Real Red. And no, I did not, Joan, re-ink my stamp pads this week. But maybe I'll go grab the ink because sometimes it's good to show people how to do it. All right, let me grab my ink because I know that it needs to be done. And these 2 colors, I believe happened, maybe not. Okay, so Flirty Flamingo. So this is the Flirty Flamingo refill. Check and make sure that you're looking at the Flirty Flamingo ink pad. You don't want to have a re-inker go into an ink pad that isn't the right color. So what I would do with this is I might shake it up because my re-inkers have been around here for a while and sometimes some of the dyes might, I know, right, Joan? Might settle to the bottom. So I'm going to just shake it a little bit. I don't want to get it too shaken because I don't want it too foamy. And then I'm going to take the cover off. And then really, I just lightly press on it. This will show you how badly I needed to re-ink them. And I usually go both ways. And you can see it. If it's soaking in, that's great. If it's not soaking in, you're inked enough. So that's all I do. Now sometimes I might take, put the cover on that. I might take a bone folder and just do a little over the top, like you're putting a little frosting on there, just so that you don't have blotches. You get very little on that. That's good. All right, so a lot of it's soaked in. You do want to make sure that you've let it soak in before you start like moving it around a little bit. And if you get it too inked, sometimes our stamps, especially if it's a fine print and it's really hard to see it because sometimes it beads up on the stamp. One of the things you can do is take your bone folder and you can actually move the ink. So you can see how I've moved that ink. I made that section a little bit drier and that will pick up the, those fine detailed stamps will be inked better with those. So a couple of tips there for you. All right. Let's see how I did. I'm going to stamp this with this. So we're going to re-ink this up. We're going to stamp it in the middle of my little die cut I got here. Yeah, you can see I did re-ink it because I got some ink on the inside, but that's all right. I did want to have that on there. Oh, I know. I'll get my strip. I had really planned to stamp both of those on there, but sometimes it doesn't work out. So I'm just going to stamp this on. I really like the ink. I'm glad that I re-inked. Oh, Joan. Good for you, though, for making him a birthday card. Joan had surgery on her shoulder not too long ago. All right. Grab some dimensionals. Pretty soon I'm going to have to grab the dog. So we have had like high 50s, almost to 60-degree days the last couple days, which are crazy here this time of year. It's so not Red Lodge. And then today we had another one that was warm. It wasn't, I don't know if it was 60, but it was definitely in the high 50s. The ski area is having real trouble. Just put that on there. And the wind blew and blew and blew and blew today. And about 5:30, as the wind was blowing, let me grab some embellishments. All of a sudden I looked out and it was snowing. So we went from 58 degrees to 27. What is it now? 28. So in just a matter of a little bit of time. But we've had such terrible winds. All right, so I just put a couple of little things on there. I need to take these embellishments and do a shaker card. Maybe I'll do that next week. I didn't plan for a shaker card today because that's what happens when I'm not really quite positive what I'm going to do. All right, so because I did use Flirty Flamingo ink, you can use any of the embellishments because they all coordinate. But there is a quick card done with a bunch of scraps that I had laying around here. All right, let's do this one. Oh, what do we got? No, I was going to ink up in the, should we ink up in the real red for this one? No, let's do this one first. This one's real red. All right, we'll use this piece. So this one comes from the die set Spotlight on Nature. This is a quiz. I don't know how my real red is. It looks like it's probably pretty juicy, so I'm not gonna dump a bunch of stuff on that. However, I might put this on there. So this is one of the dies that I, of course, had laying around here. I'm gonna grab this heart. We'll see if it's, I think it's inked. Yeah. Stamp that down. Just gives you something kind of fun. I'm going to grab the bubble gum. I'm just going to grab a little bit of ribbon. We're going to run this ribbon right through the hole here. Now on this particular heart, you can see how it has dash lines on it. It's just a little decorative edge, but if you didn't want that, you could actually just cut along there and cut that decorative edge off, and then you'd have a heart die. And let me show you when I did. I had another one over here done up with, here, I'm just going to do a bow. So I went through the hole. Oh yeah, bubble bath. Did I say bubble gum again? Stampin' Up! Should change the name of the ink pad for me. Okay, it's Bubble Bath ribbon. Oh, my thumbs are too big tonight. Let me try it again. So I just went through that little hole There we go. Now I got it. Tie the ribbon. Tie it in a nice bow. Kind of make some adjustments to it. Trim off the edge. We're going to add this. I'm going to push that over to the side. I am going to put this on with dimensionals. Pretty soon I'm going to have everybody calling it bubblegum. And there is that. And I don't know if I would do much more. I don't have to, because I could put the sentiment inside whatever I want. So I might do that. So there's card number 2. And use this one. Let's see what we got here on our stamps. Oh, I do like these hearts. So I love these hearts here. All right, let me grab my dog. Just a second. Again, all day today she used the dog door. It's still there. She could come and go as she pleases. But if I'm in here, if I'm home, she wants me to open the door for her. All right, let's ink up this heart. I think I'm going to stamp the off on this one. Let me grab a piece of cardstock or a scrap paper here. So I'm just going to stamp it off, and then I'm going to stamp my hearts on there. Just because I want you to see the different looks that you can get with different inks. All right, and then I'm going to take a stamp. Did I do hugs and kisses? I don't think I did. I'll do hugs and kisses on this one. These stamps need to be cleaned. They're very sticky, but I can start to see they're getting like a little bit of fuzz or something on them. All right, so I'm going to take the hugs and kisses and I'm going to ink that up in the, let's see if it works. Yeah, so there's both Flirty Flamingo. Little hearts and then Flirty Flamingo full on. So it's stamped off and then full on. And this is going to get added. I think I'll put it up here. Put this up here and this. I like that. All right, so this is that heart that I was telling you about. Here's another heart. So it's this heart that I cut out with the dies. You could use either side. One of the things I did notice is that I got very, I don't know, I wanted it to be straight up and down. So I made sure that my designer series paper, although this is really random, but this side, I really needed them to be, I don't know why, because that's just how I am. But you could use this. You could use this on here. That will make it show up better. You could use this with a die cut heart out. Lots of variations. All right, I think I did that one. Let's do, I'm going to put Valentine's. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab, I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to grab this one. So I'm going to ink up the Valentines. And then I'm going to find my stamps. And this one has Happy Day. So you could actually lay this where you want them on your card, especially if they're not full of ink. And then you could pick them up. And see how sticky they are? There. And then I can pick them up with one stamp, ink them up at the same time, and I actually could have done that in the red and stamp them at the same time. So you can actually, you could like really get some Valentine, get some cards pumped out. All right, so let's go back to this one. I kind of want to use a different stamp on here. Maybe this one, maybe this one. This stamp here is not only is it a stamp, but it has a die that coordinates with it. So let me show you what it looks like. Ink that up. Stamp it off, only because I might want to put words on there or something else, and I don't want it to all blend together. All right, so there is the stamp. And if you look at the cards that I made last week, let me find them. Oh, good gosh, oh, here they are. This is the die. It's not exactly the same, but it coordinates. So it's very similar. I like that because it just has like a, it's just really different. Now, the other thing I could do is I could pick up this stamp, and I think that'll kind of coordinate in there. Should we try it? Why not? Let's do this one full on red. Now you notice that I was probably in flamingo and I went into full on red, but because this was a light color and this was a dark color, it's going to be fine. You just don't want to go red into flirty flamingo, because then you're going to end up with a red heart in the middle of your ink pad. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, I don't know. And if you're not sure if you like it, you can always take a blender pen and color that around. So what a blender pen does is it just picks up the ink that you've put on your cardstock and it smears it around. So this is like a clear marker, and it will pick up, see, I like that better. It will pick up the ink. So you kind of want to do it fairly quickly because you still want that ink to be dry. Once you've got red in there, then I would just take another piece of paper and write on it till it's clear. And there is your blender pen. So you can take whatever you stamped and change it up. The other thing you can do with a blender pen is you could go into the ink pad, pick up ink, and then color with it. So, I don't think so. All right. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to take some of this. Take some of this bubble bath ribbon. I'm going to make a bow with big loops. Big loop on there. That's going to go on like that. And then this, I'm going to pull off the dimensionals. And then I'm just going to trim that up a little bit. Just to give it a little bit of something back there. The other thing that I could do with this, which would be kind of fun, is I could grab my Wink of Stella. So the blending brush, you could do the same thing with Wink of Stella. So Wink of Stella is a clear, glittery liquid. And if I had not used my blender pen on this, you can see where it's going to smear. But it will make your inks be more like watercolors. And you could also use it with your colored pencils. You could color, oh, this is really pretty glittered. I hope you guys can see it. Probably not, but it really made a big difference. Let me show you with this one. Let's see what this one does. I don't know if it's too late, but probably not. Just going to be lighter. So I'm just going to add ink to where the heart is. And you know that this has been sitting there for a while, so it's definitely dry, but you can see that a little bit of that ink is blending out. I don't want to squeeze this Wink of Stella too much because I don't want it to come shooting out, but it really changes the look. It's pretty. It's very pretty. All right, so let me pull out my cards. And I would tell you that I will do probably insides very similar. I might even stamp a heart on here. I'm not going to use this one because it's now red until I get something else to clean. But I'll do the insides of my cards too. Or even this little heart. See, this is one of my favorites. This little heart and the little die that cuts out the little hearts. So let me grab that. We'll do it to this one. Because you want to make sure you decorate your insides and decorate your envelopes. It's really important. All right, so those are my cards for tonight. Just really quick, I wanted to show that. But I wanted to remind you that I want you to do it. I want you to send them to me at Diane@DDStamps.com. Take a picture, send them to me. I want to see what you've done. And anybody that does that, I will send you a little gift in the mail as a thank you. I also want you to like my YouTube video, share it, become a subscriber so that you know when I'm going live. All right, next Thursday, I have an event here at my house with some local stampers. So I will not be on YouTube Live at this time. But that doesn't mean I might not go live at another time. If I do, I'll send it out my newsletter and you'll know when. So don't forget to sign up for that. All right, I will put the measurements down below in the subscription. Who gave me a thumbs down? That makes me sad. I hope it was a dumb thumbs down because I wasn't going to be here. Oh, good, they changed it. What a whiner I am. All right, anyway, I will put the measurements down in the description, and they might even be there already. I might have done that this afternoon. I'll put the pictures on my website so that you can see what I did, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you did. So take a picture and send it to me. All right, everybody, thank you for coming. It was really fun. I will speak with you soon. Bye-bye.